The chairman of Nigeria's Anti-Graft Agency, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's Ola Olukoyede, is urging for a law against unexplained wealth to combat treasury looters. Speaking at an international law conference, he highlighted the success of unexplained wealth orders in various countries. Currently relying on Section 7 of its Establishment Act, EFCC aims to strengthen anti-graft measures. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Adeyinka Olumide-Fusika, joins us now to analyze the proposed legislation and suggest actions to tackle unexplained wealth in Nigeria. Welcome to the show, Mr. Olumide-Fusika.
Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for honoring the invite. Let's just start with a simple question.
Yes.
Do you think this plan to seek legislation to curb unexplained wealth by the Anti-Graft Agency will be successful?
I think what I don't understand is why the chairman feels that, the chairman of the EFCC feels that is, I don't know what has propelled him to make the call right now, because in Nigeria, corruption works on the streets. It's to your face. The people involved are not trying to hide. Most of them are not, or let me say, a huge percentage of them are not attempting or even trying to hide anything. They do it to your face, So why don't they tackle that first before looking for the few that are a bit more intelligent and, try to pretend that they are not corrupt and, by using third-party agents to hide the proceeds of their crime. In the First Republic, we have stories of those ones. In the First Republic, there was still some, sense of shame at that time. If you were caught or you are even associated with corruption, it was shameful. Your whole family, you may even be disowned by your family. But these days, generally speaking, people don't even bother about it. You are welcome to churches, mosques, you can even go and, for Thanksgiving and all that in churches and all that. You go into government today or into any position of authority, everybody knew what you were before you went into that office. And suddenly, you are, wallowing in extreme wealth. We can see it. It's obvious to us. We see it every day. So nobody is hiding it. So why is it not, looking at how to be more effective in fighting the corruption that we can see, than looking for the ones that are hidden? I think that should be the challenge of the EFCC, frankly speaking. If you look at where we were in 1999, maybe the younger ones may not know. Would you say, I think the EFCC, ICPC, they were set up 2001 or thereabouts. What was the state of corruption and corrupt practices in Nigeria at that time? And after so many years of having the ICPC, the EFCC, and all that, can we say today that as at that time we were shouting, oh, there was corruption in society, how do we fight it, and so on and so forth? Can we say that the level of corruption at that time, can we sincerely say that with all the efforts that have been put in, the society is less corrupt today? People are less inclined to corruption, than we have it today. Can we sincerely say that? No. So I personally think, I think that it means well. I'm not saying that the EFCC chairman doesn't mean well. I think it means well. He's looking at ways to make his work more effective. But for me, I think that my belief is that the corrupt ones in Nigeria are not hiding it. Explain where it has to do with people trying to hide their money or with the process of corruption here and there. The ones in Nigeria are not hiding it. They do it to your face. They say, tell you yes, And, our people even go out celebrating them, shouting and telling them that they are the best things that have ever happened to humanity.
Right.
So, Why doesn't he face that, the ones that we can see, rather than going after the ones we can't see,
Yeah. Now, given this picture that you've painted of, what appears to be the reality on the ground, don't you feel that bringing an element of stigmatization to those who are higher up in the food chain might be an effective way to deter this impunity that you've so colorfully described?
Stigmatization.
Yes, so if we're to conduct lifestyle audits and we're to make the outcome of these lifestyle audits public, and we're to start naming and shaming people via the authorities and via the unexplained wealth orders and so forth, don't you think this might translate to a change in behavior to, the elites and also those lower in the food chain as well?
Well, the point I was making is that, there's no... Society has changed a lot, Corruption has become mainstream, it's acceptable. There's no sense of shame in it again. You have today a father with his wife, children being charged for corruption, and there's no big deal about it. People go to, even religious organizations, it seems as if people, take it as, once you are in that position, they take it that you are entitled to be corrupt, and there's no big deal about it. When you are talking of stigmatization, it's as if you are implying that, we don't know today the level of corruption in Nigeria. We do know, and those who are corrupt. What I'm saying is that right now, they already do it to your face. They are not hiding it. They are not, when you are talking of undisclosed, unexplained wealth and all that, you are talking about people, pretending to be honest and living straight life, while at the same, whereas they are, corrupt and they are hiding it under, using some sort of third-party agents to hide it. We have elements of that in Nigeria, but what I'm saying is that preponderantly, the corrupt ones in Nigeria are not hiding it, They are doing it. We can see it. You don't need to be looking around to say, oh, where is he hiding his wealth? Where is he hiding? If somebody, for instance, who is, who was, let me say, a teacher, some few, before attaining one political office or the other, becomes a councillor. And then you can see, obviously, he's not hiding it. Suddenly he's building a house in his village, he's building in the city, he's not building it in the name of some other person, he's building it in his own name, So he's not hiding it. So I'm not saying that we don't have instances of people, for instance, insinuations have been made about judicial officers who, may not collect bribe directly, who use they use some lawyer agents to do the, what's it called for them. We've had, allegations of that nature. But, when you are talking preponderantly about what is going on in Nigeria today, the people involved are not hiding. They are corrupt. They know they are corrupt, and they do it to your face. They are not hiding it. So I would prefer a situation where the EFCC would, the new regime in the EFCC would look at, okay, where are we? Why have we been, if you look at since we were formed, how come corruption is, even more rife today than it was when we were formed? What can we do better why are we ineffective, So it's not, okay, let me give you an example. During the Buhari, whatever administration, you had the case of two governors, I think about two governors or so, who were convicted of corruption and were serving jail terms. Government spent a lot of money to ensure that they were prosecuted. Lawyers, I remember my learned brother, Rotimi Jacobs, traveling to Jos, trying to ensure. They brought witnesses from abroad. Sometimes the court will not sit. They spent a lot of money on it. But what did we have at the end of the day? After conviction, the government then freed them under so-called amnesty or state pardon. So what are you? Those are the things we should be looking at, not on looking at who's hiding his money somewhere and all that. From my experience, I'm not too enthused about it generally, because everything that we do here is prone to abuse. You know, you have that kind of law. It's like you are empowering some security officials, police, EFCC, and all that. You know, they would divert, or from the intention of the law. They will go after the ones they can be harassing all over the place. Even though the law is meant for a good purpose, those operating it will turn it to something else. And we have good examples. Take the Cybercrime Act that was supposed to address the serious situation of cybercrime and things like that. What do you have today? If I criticize you on social media, and you have access to one police corporal in one police station, in one backward police station somewhere, you go and complain to him. Before you know it, I'm arrested, charged to court and all that, and they will charge me under cyber whatever and lock me up. And so these things are, prone to abuses. When you have this kind of situation or this kind of law that says, okay, come and explain how you acquired your wealth. In other places like UK where these laws are in operation, they are actually targeted at politically exposed persons and people associated and related to them. People holding political offices, people, they are members of their family, friends, and things like that. That's the target of that law. But I can assure you, if you have it in Nigeria today, that won't be the target. Unfortunately, they will not be looking at state actors again, because those ones are above the law. They are afraid of those ones. They won't look at state actors. They'll be looking at individuals who are just doing their businesses, for one reason. The ones they can catch easily. Why do you think that most of their EFCC conviction today is people doing computer, whatever, they call them 419 or Yahoo or something like that, And like Senator Ndume once said, all the convictions they've had, 3,000, 10,000 that they announce all the time. If you add up all the amount of money that, was involved in those convictions, one state official must have stolen it just on one contract. So why are they not after those ones? They're after, So it's the ones that they can easily catch and, who have no ways to manipulate the system and all that, who have no godfathers here and there to, who didn't steal anything from the state. Because if you look at it, like I was telling some of them, many of these Yahoo boys were driven into that, bad thing because of the failure of the state. They have no confidence in the state, what is meant to, train them, educate them and all that. Some people sit down somewhere and just embezzle. You don't go and arrest those ones, you go after, and then you come out at the end of the year and announce, we have 10,000 convictions. If you look at the convictions that they announce all the time, it's, in my view, it indicates to me that they've departed from the goal, the purpose for establishing the organization called the EFCC and ICPC. They were not set up to chase after somebody wanting to deceiving somebody in America that wants to marry you. Come and give me some money. That's not the purpose of that organization, but that's what they are concentrating on, unfortunately.
Okay,
so if you have this kind of law...
Mr. Olumide-Fusika, I appreciate how in-depth you've gone with this. But you did say that if this was implemented, the tendency for diverting from the intention of the law would be on the high side. So let's just pretend that this law will be, enacted or this will be made law by tomorrow. What would you like to see in terms of it being managed adequately in the event that it sees light of day? For instance, we have people who are involved in digital
nomads. It should be specifically stated.
In the digital nomads lifestyle.
That kind of law, it should be, yes. I think we have to put in place control mechanism to prevent EFCC not EFCC. We have a lot of good persons in EFCC. We have good operators. We have good officials. But at the same time, we have very bad ones, very, very bad ones. They will dabble into things that they are not supposed to dabble into. So that kind of law, our legislature should be, if they are contemplating it, they should make it very, very clear that, put restrictions in place. It should be targeted at politically exposed persons, people in political offices, members of their families, their friends. They should be restricted to that. And then beyond that, organized crime. When I say organized crime, it's not your normal, everyday, crime that we are talking about. In terms of organized crime, maybe people involved in, who organize drug trafficking, who organize mafia-like organizations. So that law should be restricted to that. If it is not restricted, every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street will become a target, a victim. And it's not because they are targeting crime. Unfortunately, they are not looking at bringing anybody to justice, or they don't actually believe that the person has committed any crime. Actually, they are just looking for opportunities for themselves to harass people, collect bribe, and so on and so forth. And then our judicial officers should also be well trained in it. You have a situation today where somebody can just go to any magistrate court in Karan and Moda and obtain an order. The Constitution of Nigeria says you cannot detain a person. If you are investigating, you can't detain a person for more than 24 hours. They go to one customary court or magistrate court somewhere and use judicial cover and obtain orders and say you are going to be detained. They have orders to detain you for 7 days, for 24, even indefinitely, hiding on. But that's contrary to the Constitution. So when you have this kind of law that says, okay, you can, if you suspect that somebody is having wealth that he cannot explain, and then you go to court to obtain an order against him, and so on and so forth. Our judicial officers even trained to question, okay, what are we looking for? What must they prove? Should it be an order that should be granted, at the asking for it and all that? And what's the procedure for review, and so on and so forth? Those are the things that the legislature will have to look at if they are contemplating such a law. But I will be comfortable with it if it is restricted to politically exposed persons and organized crime, not generally, not something that you just have there and any police officer or EFCC officer or Google, not Google, NS, what do they call them? NSDC, all these uniform people can just use to harass people on the streets.
Mr. Adeyinka Olumide-Fusika, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, thank you so much for such a delightful delve into this topic. Thank you for your time.